Hi, I'm Sukie.
And I'm Claire.
Welcome to Getting Psychic, where you can listen to us use ourselves to test the theory that anyone can get psychic. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Sukie.
I'm so excited.
I know. This is really going to be a thing. Okay, explain what we're doing.
Okay, we made a decision last week.
Chakras are real.
In case you don't remember, chakras are real, and we decided to really dig in to each of them one episode at a time, and holy shit balls. I'm gonna say it. It's been life-changing.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're doing like the research on each chakra, not just the little teeny things, and then doing different meditations so that we can share our experiences and explain what we're doing so you guys can do it and you guys have access to all the material. And it's super fucking intense. It's awesome. So obviously we started with the root chakra.
Yeah.
Which I hate it.
You're having a hard time in there?
I'm totally having a hard time in there, which I think makes a lot of sense. But I didn't realize I was going to have as much. I mean, I've had great meditations and then I've had a lot of resistance. I didn't realize I was going to have quite as much resistance to do it, which means I just have to keep doing it.
I know. It's like
and,
exactly what we've been needing to do. I think the part that's been especially crazy to me or helpful to me is that lately I've been meditating and I've been kind of like all over the place. I have so many new tools and I've learned so many things so fast that I'm a little scattered in what I'm doing up there. And this has given me a focus, and not to mention that I've also kind of, for one reason or another, really based on stuff that I've read and heard, pretty much neglected my root chakra.
Yes, totally.
And I think that might be a common thing, like to not realize the importance of it. And I've learned in the past like week or so, so many more things about what it's responsible for. And I almost think that I want to spend a month on it, like only meditating in my root chakra, because I've had some revelatory meditations and it's been insane.
Truly. It's funny because when we were a few weeks ago, when we were just talking, you were like, why do they always start with the root? Why is it always like, why can't you go from top down?
Yeah.
And, I was like, we can. It's way more fun, in my opinion. And it's because of this. It's because because the first two chakras are insanely intense. So who knows? Maybe we're going to end up doing like 2 episodes on one chakra, like depending on how much stuff there is in it. Right. Yeah. We might have to. I mean, we'll find out. But what were you going to say?
Just realizing that all of the foundational stuff of our being is really in this chakra was shocking. It was chakra-ing.
Chakra-ing.
Okay.
So let's get into it. So
what's in there?
It is like the archetype of it is the tribe. It is all of the belief systems of your group identity and group force. It's your family. It's religion. It's anything that you have been taught to believe since the moment you're
Not to
born.
mention before
And
you were
it,
born.
yeah, right, not to mention before you were born.
Ancestral stuff is also in there.
Uh-huh. Right. Right. So like ancestral trauma is in there. Um, and it's the first chakra that like is created between the ages of like 1 and 3 or something.
Yeah.
Um, which is also wild to think about, like that our chakras grow as we grow, you know?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Um, but the whole idea of like, right, like the tribe, the hive mind, and how hard it is to break away from because it can lead to shame and fear. I mean, like, so that's so emotionally, energetically, it is the root of our mental health,
Yeah.
basically, is
So
what.
I one of the books that I read
Mhm,
was the Cindy Dale book completely dedicated to the root chakra. I highly recommend it. It's got so many assets in there, anything from like food to eat to meditations to do, and it really, of course I'm reading Wheels of Life as well cuz chakras are real, but this one really kind of exposed more of an understanding for me about what is actually in there. And so, one quote from this book is,
mhm,
your first chakra is responsible for issues related to your safety, security, survival, and basic
mhm.
needs. And one branch of that that's crazy to me is that's where your money stuff lives. Like, if you
Wait, I thought money was in 2.
exactly, that's what I've always read. But this book over and over again talks about how um, the ability to um,
Mm,
manifest money
have.
and and
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
experience the acceptance of wealth starts here. And so, like, I've always been like
That's interesting.
manifesting from my solar plexus or sacral. Um, and that's another reason why I was like ignoring my root chakra. But if you read this book, it makes like a really good case that like money and financial stability live here, which is
That makes yeah,
cool.
I've never thought about it in that way. I wonder if too well, we'll find out next,
Yeah.
if that is then how you use the money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
One interesting thing is like I've heard actually before I looked at this Cindy Dale root chakra book, I have heard from multiple people that have the ability to witness other people's chakras that people who are really wealthy often have a
Mhm.
really strong root chakra.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's like it can go one of two ways, which I think is really intriguing. Like you can strive super hard for financial gain because you have an unsolid footing foundationally, which would
Mhm.
indicate like a kind of root chakra that needs a little help, or you can achieve financial success because you believe and expect that you deserve it,
Right.
which would indicate like a stronger root chakra. But so there's so much tied in it how we're formed that is really wild.
Mhm.
And there are so many
Yeah.
symptoms
Yeah.
associated with it and body parts.
So many.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, the immune system.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm reading a Cindy Dale book that's like this big, massive, complete
Mhm.
chakra book. So I'm guessing it's
Probably, yeah, the
parts of
same
the
thing.
same. Um, but in that, like the belief, am I worthy of existing? That's like first chakra. Do you believe that you're worthy of existing? If there's any part of you when you ask yourself that that's like, well, then
Yeah.
you have some issues in your first chakra. And
Yeah.
it's like, if it's all about, I mean, so much of it is about, you know, your sense of safety
Yes.
from when you were little. It's like a lot of us can be like, yeah, no, didn't have that. Didn't,
No.
like had to figure that one out on my own. Um,
Yep.
that's, that's all it. Like, which is so interesting to me to then think about like autoimmune diseases, which so many of them have to do with a certain level of needing to be independent. Like every time I've read like the energetics of it, it's like, like your attachment to being independent is actually kind of harming you in this weird
Oh
way.
my god. I don't think I've
I
heard
know.
anything that's like more me ever. That's
I
so
know. Me too.
it's wild. It's unfolding because like I think
I
similarly, like we both had a lack of a sense of safety in our childhoods. And I
in different
just
ways, but totally.
yeah, but I was just telling you I realized like I could never figure out why I was so different from my siblings, but I realized that we took the same childhood and did two different things with it. And
Yeah.
being fiercely independent can come directly from a lack of sense of safety and security.
Absolutely. Like I have to do it all on my own for me to feel like it's going to be safe.
Yeah. And
And so
that's in there.
that being in, yep, and that's in there, and that's first chakra. And for me to then look at the like physical areas that there can be problems with the first chakra, it's like, oh, you mean your limbs, like your lower body? And I'm like sitting here in a wheelchair
Yeah.
being like, huh, weird, that's interesting.
And I'm sitting here with every
Or
autoimmune
chronic
disease.
fatigue syndrome. Yeah, right. um yeah, it's interesting. So lower limbs, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, anything related to the teeth and bones, addictions, like just addictions, um, reproductive issues, and blood issues, which I thought was really interesting, which then am like, ooh, right, like your bloodline,
Mhm.
thinking about that in energetic ways of like clearing ancestral shit.
Mhm. One thing
Um,
that I love about Cindy Dale and the way she talks about like what the
mhm,
root chakra is associated with is that she uses the word anus a lot.
yeah,
She she's like always talking about the perineum, scrotum,
yeah,
anus. Like she
love
does
it.
not mess around.
Well, at least she's using some, the biological words, I
Yes.
guess. Um, but yeah, it's so fascinating to me of like, if that was strong, you know, your first chakra and I mean, you were supported and thus you believe that you can do things, like that's dope.
So what do you think I mean, I know what I've been experiencing since we started doing
Mhm.
this, but what do you think people can do for themselves by healing
Yeah.
their first chakra?
Okay. So I mean, there are so many different kinds of first chakra meditations. Like, fucking go on YouTube and be like, first chakra meditation, and there will be many. But like grounding is number one. Like,
Yeah.
constantly ground yourself. Like, feel into connecting the lowest part of your spine into the ground. Like, imagine that there's this, beautiful orb of energy, and it doesn't matter how big it is or what it looks like. Whatever you picture is perfect.
Yeah.
And then connect that into the center of the earth. I was reading this book about Kundalini and astrology, which is weird. But I guess it's not actually. But so Kundalini is 1,000,000% connected into the chakras. It's the opening of the chakra centers to help clear out trauma and garbage to lead into basically enlightenment
Right.
or whatever, or like total health.
Right. And
And
Kundalini
it starts in the root chakra.
is said to be take the form of a snake, and
Yeah.
it's coiled in the root chakra.
Mm-hmm. And so then when it begins opening and moving, wild shit starts happening. So that was actually when I started, when we started talking about this, and I started doing meditations with the root chakra again, which I really haven't for like many years.
Yeah.
Like consciously.
Yeah.
But and then even when I was doing other meditations, my Kundalini reactivated. My body started, I think I called it quivering.
Or shimmying or
Like
something.
shimmying or something. It's like, it reminds me of a like cobra, like moving back and forth.
Yeah.
When it's like about to strike.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like, is like this energy is moving up my body and is making me wiggle, basically. And then I start having kriyas and mudras. So like my arms start, like dancing on their own, basically. And making different, like hand mudra positions.
Yeah.
And it felt dope. Like, it'll do that sometimes, but I mean, when I let it just go, like it's physically a lot of work, but it's incredibly clearing, and I know that. So I was like, oh shit, right. I've been, thinking about root chakra, tapping into it. Obviously, the snake's gonna wake up and be like, fuck yeah, let's do this thing. So that's been cool. But also, when I've just tried to do meditations of like, I'm gonna go in there and see what's in there, it's like a big no, you're not. Like, I literally get like pushed out.
Yeah.
And you had a profound experience, and I want to know like how you got in.
I have no idea.
Like, what did you do? Okay, well, how do you start it?
Well,
lead me
okay,
through
wait.
your meditation.
I definitely want to do that, but can we just really quickly before that, if you don't mind, I'm feeling pulled to go back to grounding.
Okay, grounding.
And talk about the importance of it and what it means, because I really want to be like instructional, and I want to like, I mean, I almost feel like grounding's so important we should explain it every freaking episode, but it's like,
yeah, it's true.
All the chakras are energy centers, and the root chakra is our first primary energy center. It's associated with earth, roots, grounding, survival, body, food, matter, beginning. Like, it's the core of us. But although you can technically ground from any chakra, fundamentally, most people are taught to ground from the root chakra. But what grounding does is essentially calms your nervous system. It can also,
it puts you fully in your body.
yeah, and it can quiet the chatter. Like, you've grounded when your crazy little monkey mind calms down, right? So when I ground, when I meditate, I always just weirdly picture myself in like lotus position, way up in space. And I don't even fully have my own form, but bear with me. This is just what happens. So I'm sitting there with my legs crossed, and I picture a cord that goes through my body and out of basically my root chakra. So my perineum.
Taint.
Down, floating way
in between
down.
The anus and the vagina.
That's correct, Claire. Floating way down down to earth. I think the earth. And then I basically use that cord to kind of drill into the core of earth and connect, go past the ground, go past the dirt, the many layers, and connect to like a ball of light in the center of the earth. And that is an energy that I use to send down anything that I don't need anymore, right?
Yeah.
So by connecting to the earth in this way, I thank her, and it genuinely brings a sense of being in my body and calmness.
Yes.
That's grounding. You can do it when you're walking on the street. You can do it when you're like in the grocery store.
Yep.
And
you're on the phone and you're feeling frazzled. You can do it.
Yeah. You can do it when in different ways too. Like, doing energy work with and on yourself is like, I don't know. Is this too bold? There aren't rules.
All right. Okay. Oh, on yourself? Yeah, there aren't rules. No, right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't do weird shit on other people. Yeah. But like, I think if you're using the intention,
all the weird shit on yourself.
But if your intention is to like ground yourself and you feel like calm and centered, and you do it in a different made up way, that's cool too, right? Like, I sometimes just like pull a sheet of light over my body and take out all the bad energy. I don't know. No one told me to do that, but it works.
No, but it's just like, you're like, this seems right.
Yeah. So do you have anything to add to that grounding?
Oh, I was going through this book that I've had for a while that always felt like weird to me, but whatever. It's this Kundalini and astrology book. So it's basically connecting these two things, which makes sense because each of the chakras is actually ruled by a planet, which I will talk about later.
Oh, that's cool.
But this woman actually calls the root chakra the earth chakra.
Oh, okay.
And and talks about the importance of not just being like it's at the end of the spine, but being like it's a part of the earth. It's a part of you and the earth.
Oh, I love that.
And yeah, like that you become one.
Yeah.
when you are connected to that chakra.
I mean, remember when I looked at Robert's in my mind's eye and it was an
Yes.
actual, like, I could smell it and it was a tree trunk? I was like,
Yep.
ever since we started doing this, I'm like, I have got to go back and look at this root chakra because it is incredible. But speaking of, in the Wheels of Life book, which I'm sure you all own by now,
So,
here's the list of things that are associated with the root chakra. Um, so it says the meaning is root support. The location is perineum, base of spine, coccygeal plexus. The element is earth. The function is survival and grounding. The inner state is stillness. The outer form is solid. The rights associated with it are the rights to be here and the rights to have, which thereby further explains the, financial thing, because that's
money,
the
money,
energy
money.
that we work with on this human existence. The glands are the adrenals. The body parts that are associated with it are legs, feet, bones, large intestine, and teeth. Malfunctions associated with the root chakra are weight problems, hemorrhoids, constipation, sciatica, degenerative arthritis, knee troubles. The sense associated with it is smell. There's a seed sound associated with each chakra, and the seed sound for the root chakra is lamb, or is it lam? Lamb, Lam.
Lamb,
Oh, there's
lom.
a
I'm going
tarot
with it's
suit,
lom.
pentacles,
Oh, which one?
pentacles.
Oh, yeah, work.
Um, Planets are Saturn and Earth. I could go on forever, but just to get a
Mm-hmm.
general idea.
Mm-hmm. It's fascinating. And it's fascinating when we start thinking of it in regards to our belief systems
Yeah.
and what we've been given subconsciously. And then, we choose slowly, which is why I think it's really interesting how Saturn is connected to it.
So,
I want you to talk about your
okay,
meditation.
I will talk about my meditation. So, since we started doing this, I was like, great. I have a focus. I'm going to focus only on meditating with this chakra. And it's been crazy, like to the point where I'm like, I have a lot more work to do in here. Like I don't want to stop and move to the next one yet, but we'll see. Okay. So it's interesting given that we've learned that it's the energy center for security, and it doesn't surprise me that, like, when I did a meditation, I experienced, a lot of, like, well, in my life I experienced like early childhood trauma a lot, and a lack of sense of security. So, of course, all that was in there. And
Yeah.
if anyone's, like, remotely interested in this, I highly recommend just making yourself a chakra boot camp because, like where you spend like a couple weeks or a month at a time on one of them and learn just one and everything that there is to know about it, and then go inside there. It's crazy. Okay, so when I say go inside there, this is another form of, like, my made up energy work that has been really fruitful for me, is that I go into meditation, I ground myself, and then I connect my upper chakras to, oneness. That's like another cord of light that I just connect into, the source of the universe. And then I kind of put a bubble of protection around me, and I'm doing something where I'm basically, it's most comfortable for me to almost, I just project myself. So when I see myself up in space, and I'm grounded and I'm connected to source, I'm essentially seeing myself in front of myself always. So it's almost like I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing energy work on myself. Try it.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I started
Hologram.
looking at the chakra from the front, and then at some point I also looked at the chakra from the back. And I tried to, because of what I've been learning, like use the color red, because that is like the lowest vibration or density color, and it's associated with the root chakra. Whenever you see the images of chakra systems, it will be red. So I try to see that, and then I kind of like would see some sacred geometry or like the lotus petals. Try to, if I'm doing a chakra meditation, weirdly just like picture myself going inside the
Mm-hmm.
projected version of myself's chakra. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to read the notes that I took after this meditation.
Yeah.
And one realization that I had that I just want to share is that I wrote this down. We can heal ourselves by healing our past because it's all happening now.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go in and I do this work on my childhood, it's benefiting me. It's benefiting my whole life because it's happening
Yes.
right now. Okay?
Yeah.
I was not on mushrooms when I wrote that. But I did
Nope.
feel like this meditation, I was like tripping out. So here we go. I just did a root meditation. I still have tears in my eyes. I was shown a coast or a river winding through mountains and a flash of a snake. I went through my childhood home and I shone bright golden light into every single room and closet and bathroom and basement and crawl space and everything. And weirdly, it was like I remembered every detail of that house. And I just went through it, like cleansing it basically. I saw myself being born, and my dad was the first person to hold me, and I got to experience how much he loved me. I cried because of this, and how hurt and abused he was, and how hard for him to parent with, and how hard it was for him to parent with love. And also how much my mom loved me, and how much everyone in my family loved me. And I saw it from the front and the back, and I saw I was visualizing red geometric shapes for it. And when I went to the back of it at some point, I kind of went through a tunnel and away. And that was right before I saw the waves and the coast and the snake. Yeah, I'm so glad I wrote that down because I would
Me
have never
too.
remembered any of it, and it was insane. Um, but
Yeah.
that's straight. I mean, it actually did feel a little bit like an ayahuasca situation, because you know how
Totally.
it just makes you look at things and see things from other people's perspectives. I was like, what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck? How am I experiencing how much everybody loved me? It
Mm.
was it was wild. But that is not that's not the recollection I have of my childhood. So it was super important and really healing to like see that too.
Yeah.
Um
That's so amazing. I love that so much.
yeah, and I mean that's the thing when people say like, "Oh, meditation's too hard. I can't turn my brain off." Like, I don't turn my brain off.
You're doing.
Like I
Yeah.
started that by like, yeah, it's active. Like there was an intentional thing where I was like, well, I have a general idea of what's in this chakra. Now I'm going to just start um just doing energy work on my childhood home. And one thing that you taught me too
Mm-hmm.
was like you can ground a place. which
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Yeah.
And then,
And then you cleared it.
right. So I was doing this work. I was visualizing myself doing this, and everything else that I saw unfolded from that. And I just
Yeah.
let my mind
That's
take
great.
me.
That's great. That is an awesome, amazing starting point of like, if you're like, okay, I have to go back, like to ground and root first yourself and do a little just clearing of you and protecting of you, and then to go to your first home and clear it.
It,
Like, whatever that is in your mind,
yeah.
like, just like I know bits and pieces of my first home,
Yeah.
you know? But, like, I know that I had a bedroom. I know that my parents had a bedroom. I know there was a bathroom. I know there was a kitchen. I know there was a living room and a dining room.
Yeah.
So, like, like, I know there were closets. I don't remember them, but, it's like, but that's a great start of, like, so as soon as we're done with this, I'm actually gonna go and do this,
Do
of,
it.
like,
It's so
right,
weird.
and it's one of those things, so, like, I like, one of my mantras personally is begin at the beginning. It's like we get so spinned out
Yeah.
in our minds,
Yeah.
and if I can just be like, go back to the original thought that started this bullshit
Yeah.
and begin at the beginning and just deal with that one thing. Don't let it spin out. I actually like have it tattooed on me. Where I like if I'm standing where my hand rests so I can like when I'm spinning out I can just touch it
Yeah.
and um and be like, right, go back. So, but I'm like, oh god, I got this tattoo like so long ago and I've never really thought about it as like, no, go back to the beginning and heal that. Begin at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, uh, it's like it's so amazing. It's so powerful of like, yeah, just let's start there and just let's heal the space. And then when the space is healed, it will just lead you into the next thing. So you're basically going to go into a trance. It's amazing. I'm like when we're done, I'm doing this.
I mean,
um,
yes. It it it, it was it was shocking. And I know
chakra.
it was shocking. And I know that I had help and assistance when I was doing that.
Yeah.
Um, and it was crazy and totally amazing. I've never had a meditation make me cry. Holy shit. Um, but yeah, I got to go back in there. There's more to do.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about yours. Tell me about your root chakra research meditations.
Um, so I mean so the first thing that I did was I grounded and then in this Cindy Dale book, she suggests bringing well, she says white light. Okay, so I'm gonna just start this off. I don't use white light. I tend to imagine it as like ultraviolet in the sense of like it has all the spectrums of color and different kinds of lights within it, or gold. And the reason that I don't use white light is I think things can hide in it. I think things can hide in white light because it's so bright you can't actually see what's behind it.
And by things, do you mean
Um,
negative energies?
yeah. hmm
Okay.
Um, and so I brought through my crown chakra this ultraviolet or gold light that just like poured through all the chakras. And I didn't get specific with like, now you're in the third.
Yeah.
Now I just was like, get down to number one.
Yeah.
And so it just was like whoosh, and I just let it pour through the chakra into the grounding cord and just keep going. And it's, and I mean, like my sacrum started aching. Like I physically feel it. And it, so, it's like the lowest part of my back started hurting, like my butt started hurting basically. And, and getting like, electrical like shocks, um, like, which then reminded me of when you had that session with Jude, and then you had
The rectal
the
entity.
like lightning bolt through the rectal entity came out your butt. Like this electrical like whoosh. And so it was like that, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, there
Getting
we
to
are.
work.
And getting to work. And so I did that for a few minutes, and then I went and I did a Dr. Joe meditation that was just, a chill thing. But while I did that, that's when my Kundalini reactivated and started. And I was like, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
So I've basically just been doing that. Like when I've tried to do the, like, let's go in and look around and see what's in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's been like, no. And so I'm glad, like, so you telling me about doing the house
Yeah.
or the apartment, wherever, the home, that first, begin at the beginning of that first home. And I'm like, that's going to be way easier to me than, like, that's a good step in.
Yeah.
Um,
I might keep going. I feel like now I
because
need to do every place I've
right,
ever been
right.
or lived anyway.
But those are all related maybe to different chakras because they have to do with different times of our life.
Totally.
So that's another fucking interesting thing. If we correlate, so just ages 1 to 3, where did you live between, or 0 and 3?
Yeah.
Like that's the root chakra. Do those homes. And that, I mean, like,
Yep.
That's some intense shit.
Yeah.
And but yeah, because when I just was like, all right, let's look at, all of the fear and lack of safety and like,
Yeah, that's way too broad, right?
yeah. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, that's not like a thing,
Yeah. Well, I expect
it's
after this call, I expect um you're probably gonna call me crying after your meditation.
you wish.
Hopefully not.
I will. Well, no, it'd probably be in a good way.
No, yes, it was very cathartic and crazy.
Totally. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, like, it's...
Yes, I cannot recommend enough getting in there.
No, totally. I mean, like, and this is, it's like, we're talking about just like our, like, oh yeah, our weird, family trauma. Which, I bet we all have in some way. And this is when I'm gonna move into Saturn.
Let's
I'm
go.
gonna start talking about Saturn.
Let's go Saturn.
All right. Let's go Saturn. At first, when I heard that first chakra was Saturn, I was like, what? That's dumb. I don't know why. I don't know what I thought it should be. I'm like, Saturn makes perfect sense because first chakra energy manifests in our need for logic, order, and structure. Which I'm like, are key words of Saturn. Okay, so Saturn is all about our structures, our boundaries, time, any constraint,
Mm-hmm.
good or bad. It's like we all need boundaries. When you have too many boundaries, they're called walls.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it can feel confining. And the first return of Saturn, between 28 and 30 years old, is basically when you begin breaking down the structures of the first chakra, of all of the rules, regulations, belief systems, order and control
Wow.
that you received from the past, from your family, from teachers, from religion, from ancestral beliefs, and you begin deciding what yours is.
That's wild.
It is.
Don't you also find that most people have very profound shifts or changes at that point in their life?
I
Like,
mean, you always,
it's so weird.
always. Yeah, I've never met anyone that was like, zero crazy shit happened during the time between 28 and 30. None. It's like, oh no, it
Oh, wait, so
it's
when's
always
when's the next one?
50, what is it? 29 plus 29, 58.
Okay. Just getting ready.
Yep. We got a while.
Mm-hmm. But like what does that denote? A second Saturn return if the
Um
first one is separating from.
it's becoming a teacher.
Oh, cool.
It's like, yeah, it's like then being able to share that which you have figured out from this past restructuring of your existence, which
That's
feels
beautiful.
so, yeah, and it feels so accurate that I'm, like basically 2/3 through it. And I'm like, oh, right, I am like really embodying like who I am and myself and what I now feel like I have to offer.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, in 10 years, like, sure.
Let it
Like,
rip.
and I don't let it rip. And I don't think it's as drastic of like, unless you have no sense of wondering who you are. But I think it's like, I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, midlife crisis. And it's like, oh, right, you're figuring out like, what you want to be in the next iteration. So, what you want to teach and if you don't already have an idea of like that, of how, it's like when you don't have self awareness, I feel like it's always going to be more shocking,
Mm-hmm.
these massive shifts
Mm-hmm.
of energy. And it's like, when, your first massive breakup and like you cut your hair off and dye it blonde. Claire
Mm-hmm.
did it. And, it's just like, I have to change something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to buy a yellow sports car or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like whatever weird thing. But it's all really interesting to think about the first chakra, about like this wanting this, order and structure. And, which as a baby, you need. Like, you need to know that when you cry, you're going to be picked up and they're going to figure out what's wrong. You need to know that these people are there.
Yeah.
I actually wish kind of there was more bigger community still. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
I think that's really hard in the city, though.
Yeah. Yeah. The symptoms in
Having that.
these books that,
Mhm.
I listened to the audiobook of The Root Chakra by Cindy Dale over the weekend, and while I was like pulling nails out of my stairs. And
Structure.
um
Breaking down
but
structure.
the vast array of symptoms of a sort of weak
Yeah.
or I don't know what other word to use, like I guess damaged. I don't know, like not energetically sound first chakra is just like such a
Mm.
broad spectrum of stuff. And I highly recommend looking at it because I feel like it would be hard to not see yourself in it in one way or another. Although,
Yeah, I mean, we all have
yeah, although,
some stuff in there.
there are some people that chose to drop into, lives that were really like foundationally healthy, I think. Just pretty fun. Good for them.
Totally. Hmm. And then it's like, well,
Yeah.
what other chakras are fucked up for them? Like,
Yeah. I think the
we all
biggest
have our
takeaway from
traumas
this
somewhere.
that's been
Um,
awesome for me is like, you know, step number 1, oh shit, chakras are real. And then there's a bit of an overwhelm because there's like, well, there's 7, but there's even more, which I think we should do an episode about the auxiliary chakras too, because I want to learn about that. But there's 7 that most people work with. And like that's a lot of information to take in at once or even in 1 year and try to, you know, sort of integrate into your life. So doing this and actually like having a
yeah,
real focus on one at a time um is so cool and helpful. So I hope everybody puts themselves through chakra camp.
I pulled out a list of
Uh-huh.
crystals that help each chakra. So for the root chakra, hematite, red
Perineum.
jasper, bloodstone, smoky quartz, moss agate, obsidian, love, black tourmaline, and black
Oh,
onyx.
cool.
So it's black and red
Very
are the two.
grounding.
Yeah, I guess I would put garnet. Yeah, I would put garnet in there also, but I guess most. Yeah, I guess like it. But like if you're gonna wear a piece of jewelry, or you want to meditate with some crystals with you, like those are the
That will help
dudes.
you. That's interesting.
So
Yeah,
there.
that's something I don't know much about at all. What
Yeah.
does it say? Oh, the minerals that oh, it does say garnet. The minerals in this book say lodestone, ruby, garnet, and bloodstone.
There you go.
Yeah, wild. There's also deities, archangel. There's a lot to learn. Get in
There's
there.
so much, you guys. When is this one coming out?
This will be released on Tuesday,
This Tuesday. Okay.
the
So
12th.
okay.
Anything
Okay.
astrologically
So
going on
then
between then and now, or anything that you're doing?
the weekend after this comes out, Chicagoland, is the Renegade Craft Fair's holiday soiree or, fair.
Cool.
Which, is, where is it?
Go out and get a
It's
reading
at-
from Claire.
Yeah, so we're going to have the camera set up at Renegade. I think it's at Morgan Manufacturing something or other. It's over, I believe, on Hubbard. Anyway, go to the Instagrams and find it, or just, we'll have the link in the stuff. We'll have the link in the stuff. But we're doing that. And then I think that's the only thing that we're doing until January.
Cool. Say hi to Claire when you're there, because lots of listeners have been visiting her, and it's been so cute.
Yeah, it's really lovely to meet people when I'm out of town. Or in town. So, what about you? Do you have anything?
I got nothing. I'm just working on getting new products out, and I don't think I have anything legit to report. But you join my mailing list at sparrowforeveryone.com for I'm like writing diary entries about weird hair treatments that you can do at home. I'm writing an article about coffee. I should do one about Nespresso, my Nespresso pod
saga.
No, but coffee treatments for your hair.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Coffee treatments?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Sign up for my mailing list and you can read the article.
You wash your hair with coffee?
I mean, yeah, that's the idea.
Oh my God.
But yeah, okay, so I think we got to call it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we could possibly do the root chakra justice in one episode, but consider this an invitation to explore this on your own for the next 2 weeks until
and then let us know. Let us know your weird shit.
Yeah. Get in there.
We want to know.
Tell us what made you cry. And then we'll move on to the sacral. Whoa.
Yep. It's exciting.
Can't wait. All right.
Well, dope. Okay.
Been fun.
Love you. Bye.
Okay. See you soon. Oh, wait. I have a reservation for dinner on Monday. Are we going?
Oh, shit. No, I totally forgot because I'm going to be in Seattle.
Oh, my God.
I didn't know if you actually had made it.
Yeah, I made it. When I said I made it.
I know, but I forgot.
What? Oh, God. I'm going to fucking keep it and take someone else.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, well, if you want to make plans with me, give me some dates.
I will.
I made a dinner reservation, but I'm going to leave that stuff in about dinner so everybody knows how mean you are.
Yep. I'm the worst.
Okay. Whatever. Okay.
Okay. Bye. Love you.
Love you too.
You too.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as we did. Be sure to subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts so that you never miss a new episode. If you liked today's episode, please consider leaving a review to help the other psychics find their way here.